Habari Ghani, welcome to the latest Kwanzaa conversation. And if you all do not know, then you should know we are in day two. That's right, day two of Kwanzaa of 2023, as we welcome in 2024, the year of open doors. And our principle of today is Kujichagulia. Now, Kujichagulia is one of my favorite principles because it's so fun to say, and interestingly enough, I've usually never had a problem with grasping the spelling of this very extensive word. But we're gonna definitely make sure that the Kujichagulia principle is listed below, as well as the definition, which is self-determination. And we have an incredible representation of self-determination being our guest hosts of today, a beautiful couple that I have just been, I'm humbled to know, we're humbled to know, and just be in the presence of just the mindset, the embodiment of Black excellence in general, and of course, a great representation of self determination. So, again, we are going down our list of principles for Kwanzaa. I'm excited with these Kwanzaa conversations because, truth be told, I'm enjoying just being a part of them, not just hosting, but being a part of these conversations because it definitely embodies and brings on a different type of spirit. So, as you all know, yesterday, and you all can go back and review any of these Kwanzaa conversations, and grab the bit of jewels from them, take from them what you need, take from them what you must, take from them what you desire. Yesterday, of course, we kicked off with Umoja, with myself and hubby, talking about unity, and unity not just on a family basis, but also on a culture, community, and diaspora basis as well. Today, of course, is Kuji Chagalia. We have an awesome, we're keeping it rolling with these Kwanzaa conversations. We have an awesome host coming up tomorrow with Salim Cox, who is an amazing storyteller, a drummer for the group Sankofa out of Atlanta, as well as he is a licensed librarian with the Library of Congress. He is going to be bringing the word tomorrow for Ujima, and that is, of course, about collective work and responsibility. So, again, we just have awesome people just keeping these Kwanzaa conversations going. I definitely implore you to please get involved. Make sure you are subscribed, visiting the website p4r.today. Go ahead and register, because for this week until the 2nd, you can register for the newsletter. You can subscribe for free. So please make sure you hit that website, subscribe to the newsletter for free. Other than that, of course, it is 1619 for a full year of great content and context for material for revolutionary change, and then being involved in our events ongoing. But without further ado, like I said, I can't stop smiling. I really cannot. I love this couple. I love this initiative. I love their passion for excellence and just the way that they show up. They show up. They're about what they say they're about. And I'm happy to be a part of a village with them, building a network with them, and being friends. Absolutely. So, without further ado, we are bringing up UC Films with the beautiful Shelly and amazing intellectual, and just absolutely inspiring Andre. So,
Kind words you
put
got
those
there.
glowers up. Let me see those Canaras. Let's set it up. Okay. Welcome, you guys. You know how I am. I can't say enough. I can't stop smiling. I love you guys. I can't wait for us to be together in person once again soon come. But without further ado, I'm going to hop on down. And guys, I'm here if you need anything. And so We're gonna keep it going. Hubby says, "Look at there." He says, Andrea and Shelley from the Bronx. He's sending down the love from the Bronx. So I'm gonna hop on down and again, welcome. I'm looking very much forward to this conversation, and we'll see you in a bit.
Peace, Courtney. You got too many kind words. Got too many kind words there. Can't live. You know these people that give you these introductions that it's just like, damn, I got to live up to all of that bullshit.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Courtney, one of them folk, boy. She'll talk you up, boy.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having us. And thank you for that lovely introduction. And thank you for everyone who tuned in for day 2, Kujichagulia and self-determination. Well, for me personally, I'm happy to actually be here on this day because I'm going to be defining my new year around that theme. Actually, before I ever knew I was going to be here, I'm actually planning to define my new year around self-determination and what I want my life to look like. What do I define as success? What is success to me? So self-determination actually was right on time for today. Coincidentally, we sometimes get wrapped up in what everyone else defines as success. So we get kind of sidetracked, get a little bit down on ourselves, and we don't take the time to self-reflect and just say to ourselves, well, what is success to me? And what is self-determination to me? What path am I on in life? What is my life's purpose? So again, I'm very honored to be here today to have this conversation. And you want to add anything, Dre, before you know me? I'm gonna just go in.
I was about to say we still in the introduction, like you calm. That's what's up, though. That's what's up. I mean, that's good. You know that's how the universe works, though, right? Kind of like set yourself up for what you want, and then everything just kind of like falls in place, like boom, 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 boom. And I guess that's right on line with the topic, right? Because because of your self-determination, I would venture to say your self-determination, right? To make self-determination your New Year's thing is directly what puts you in this seat today to talk about this, right? Because now you're going on the record. You literally you just went on the record, right? Mm-hmm. So now that's you're holding yourself to self-accountability. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's what self-determination is all about, right? Self-accountability. With saying what you want and going after it, period. But before we get too far in the show, I heard Courtney say something in her introduction about Doss being in the Bronx, and that rang a bell. You know me, Bronx, like Bronx. You in the Bronx, man? Bro, we got some business in the Bronx we got to talk about, bro. If you in the Bronx like that, man, we you know what I mean? Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk.
Oh my
let's self-determine some stuff. How about that one? Yeah, but I mean,
okay.
before you got too far, that's what I really wanted to get out. Shout out to the Bronx. Shout out to everybody in the Bronx. Shout out to the people that make money with us in the Bronx and in the past, present, and future. How about that one?
Hey.
Cool.
Well, I want to start off by saying this. Even this holiday within itself is a wonderful thing because, we celebrate a lot of different holidays and whatnot, but this one is specifically for us. So we determined that we needed something that was for us, and here we are.
Boom, bang, connect.
Another thing I really want to focus on, I wanted to just tell a quick story. I wanted to put you on the spot for a second, if you don't mind.
Do you think?
If you don't mind. With UC Films and with your other endeavors, how you came to the point where you just said, and this was during COVID, when you came to the point where you just said, I'm going to stop working for others and I'm going to build something up for myself. I'm going to get very focused. I'm going to get locked in, and I'm going to build something for myself. And here we are, UC Films and ATL Fleet. And those were your endeavors where you just said, I'm going to stop working for others and I'm going to build something for myself. So again, self-determination, when you are in a position where you just, you take a look at your life and you determine what the outcome is that you want for yourself, and you go after the things that you really want to do. And that's something that I really think that we need to emphasize with our youth also, because a lot of times our youth are confused. They're confused about what they want to do, where they want to go, how their life will be. Well, the first thing you have to do is define what you want your life to be. And again, what success is to you. So understanding that you are the creator pretty much of your own story, you'll begin to, manifest what it is that you want. And you do that by determining first and foremost who you are. Because honestly, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on social media right now that is crazy to me, that people want to define as the Black community as a whole. There's a lot of conversations about the role that the women play, the role that the men play, and there's a lot of this going on. There's a lot of headbutting. So we need to get back to basics pretty much and determine who we are as a community. We don't need to let talking heads and people with their talking points determine who we are as a community. We don't need to have Black men with this deadbeat dad trope. We don't need to have Black women with this trope of being a whore. Because I seen something the other day where the rapper 21 Savage said the reason that men don't make love songs anymore, R&B singers don't make love songs anymore, is because all of you are hoes. I'm being blunt, but this is what was said. And I'm thinking to myself, is this the way we see ourselves as a community? Is this really what we want our image to be? Do we want the world to take a look at us and see ourselves defining ourselves as these things? I mean, you see it in the music, you see it in the imagery that's being pushed out about our community. And I honestly think that it's time for us to define who we are as a community, and not in a way that is shedding a negative light. We can't continue to look at each other so lowly and put that image out there, because this is something that will continue on for generations. It's really time to take a stop and redefine who we are as a people, because we've kind of allowed things to go off course a bit, where we're pretty much just letting people in certain positions who don't really know our community put the imagery out there, and we're just allowing them to define us, when all in all, we have to define ourselves.
I mean, everything you said was true.
Yeah, like I said, I think that it's really time for us to do these things, because we can see now kind of how things again are spiraling out of control, to where all the imagery, majority of the imagery that we're seeing online right now, we're not really pulling the strings on the information that is being put out about our community. And that's definitely a problem for me, because we need to take our power back. Again, we need to define ourselves, because we really have been allowing the media to define us as a community. And I think that's a grave mistake. We have people that do, that do speak against it. They do counter it. But again, in the mainstream, because that's what everybody really pays attention to, we need to begin to push back against the imagery that is being put out there against our community, and defining again, once again, who we are as men and women, what we are as a community, how we interact with each other. There's a lot of negative stereotypes that are pushed out there against us, and we really got to go against the mainstream and push back against that. We got to continue to combat that imagery, because again, if we don't do that, the youth will not really understand who they are as a people. We are so much more than what is being pushed out there in the media against us. Excuse me. We are I mean, we are the offspring of some of the most amazing people to ever exist. So I think that we really need to hone in and focus on our positive attributes and not continue to allow ourselves to be defined by others in such a negative light. And again, that for me, that is what self-determination is. Being able to paint your own narrative and not allow someone else to be in control of what you are, who you are, and what you represent.
That's exactly what it is. It's painting your own narrative. In order to get there, though, it's not like I would love to focus on since we're here and this is what we're talking about, right? I'm gonna go at it from the angle, probably not the angle that everybody want to hear. Just to be 100% real, right? Because creating your own identity and creating your own world and creating your own universe is definitely possible, and it's a thing. It's more than a possibility. It's more than a possibility. It's a thing we do whether we want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing we do whether we want to or not. So, since we're going to talk about it, what I'm going to talk about is the taking responsibility of actions part, right? To me, that's the hardest part.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's easy to say, yeah, I want $1 million and boom, I made it happen. Yeah, I can show people I made $1 million happen by manifesting it. I brought this Bentley by manifesting it. I brought this beautiful home, and yeah, all of that stuff, all of that is there. It's real. But on a daily basis, what we do as a majority is we wake up and we deal with life. And because we're dealing with life, we tend to wake up reacting. And we end up on this cycle of reactions. And because we're reacting, we're still creating our world, our universe. But we're not creating it, for the most part, the way we want or what we actually want from it. It's simply because we're reacting to what the rest of the world says to wear your hair a certain way. The rest of the world says to cut your beard off, and the world says to put a perm in your hair, and the world says to you go make $100,000, and that's what's going to bring you happiness. And the world says to own this car, and that's what's going to give you. And all of those are just you. If you're falling into all of that, all you're doing is you're creating somebody else's universe. The happiness, no, you're creating yours too, but you're creating the happiness that somebody else or some other force, right, is actually put out there for you to help create. It's kind of like being a boss and having the workers and having your workers going out and doing your bidding for you. What we have to largely realize to cut that, to counter that, is to take self-responsibility. When things aren't going the way that we want them to go in our life, the first thing we need to do is stop and say, wait a minute. What can I do to make this different? Or what could I have done to make this different? Because we can easily say the bank, the insurance company, the mortgage man, all of these things are the reason, right? The fact that the employee didn't do what he was supposed to do, or your partner didn't, the person at work that's supposed to relieve you didn't show up on time. It's very easy to go those routes and blame all of those things. But if we stop and we say, what could I have done to make this outcome right here, which I hate, can't stand the fact that I'm dealing with this right now. What could I have done? What did I have the power to do to make this different? And furthermore, what do I have the power to do now to make it different?
Accountability.
Man.
It's kind of like doing a an inventory on yourself.
Daily.
Yeah.
Hourly, minutely.
A checklist, inventory daily, going in and seeing what can be tweaked, what can be changed. And like you said, what can I do better? Taking responsibility for yourself and your actions. All of that is part of self-determination. I mean, because anything that you want in life, you definitely, for one, going to have a plan. And you're definitely going to have to be constantly and consistently seeing what it is that you can do to make things better for yourself, to better your situation. And like you said, pointing the fingers here, there, and everywhere, you'll never have the time to step back and take a look at yourself and say, what role do I play in all of this? What role, what can I be doing better? Right. So, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with accountability being an aspect of self-determination, because without you being able to check yourself, you'll never be able to improve yourself. So that is definitely on point and on par with the principle of the day, self-determination, Kujichagulia. Again, like I said, defining what type of life you want, and in order to actually sit down and put the pieces of the puzzle together to create the life that you want, you are going to have to constantly be seeing what it is that you can improve on, what you can do better. How, and then again, it gets to a point where you have to not be afraid to fail.
Listen, I got a colleague that says, he taught me this one last year. He said, man, it's okay to fail fast. Listen, guys, take it in. It's okay to fail, but fail fast. Don't drag out failing. Right? Mm-hmm. Especially like in your business adventures. Mm-hmm. Don't drag out failing. Fail fast. Put your pedal to the metal. And if you're going to fail fast. Like if you're going to drown fast. Don't drag it out and sit there and think about your memories and think about the things that you would like to accomplish. No, just go ahead and take it all in and just die. Right? Just do it fast though. Like, and move on. Mm-hmm. Move on, figure out why you failed. What was that failure? Don't take it as a failure. Take it as a learning lesson. Mm-hmm. And move on, but do it fast. Don't drag it out. It could be very costly.
I mean, but that's all. Honestly, that's all a part of mastering something. I mean, you're gonna have to fail at something in order to even know where you went wrong. Right. You're gonna have to know where you went wrong and be able to regroup and start over from that. So again, like you said, lessons, failing, whatever you want to call it, you have to understand that without those things, you really don't have a guide as to what not to do, how to do things differently. So being able to do those things and being able to, like you said, not drag it out and reflect on it so long is how you'll be able to regroup and recover quickly. So again, all of that goes hand in hand with self-determination. Excuse me. And I'm so happy that you did bring up accountability, because that's something that's being discussed widespread in our community right now. So it's on par with everything that we're talking about right now, being accountable. But what I will say is it's very easy for people to hold others accountable.
Yes.
But listen, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Holding yourself accountable is the hardest thing to do, because no one wants to admit that they screwed up.
Man, listen.
No one wants to admit that they were wrong majority of the times.
But when you realize, right? When you realize, in order for me to achieve the success that I want to achieve, which I have the control of, I can't get there without admitting my fuck ups. So when you realize that, it makes you run towards your fuck ups. It makes you run towards them like, okay, something's wrong. Where did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? Damn Tom and Dick and Harry and forget all those people. They're just clouding my vision right now.
Mm-hmm.
I need to figure out where I fucked up.
Yeah, like I said, pointing fingers, it's only going to get you but so far, because again, like they say, when you fall in the hole, you can concentrate all day about who put you there, but what is your plan to get out? How are you going to dig yourself out of that hole? Listen, 2023 has been a tumultuous year for a lot of people. I mean, honestly, the past couple of years have been a tumultuous year for a lot of people. We've seen our economy go from terrible to the worst that we've seen it in decades, in several decades. So, again, it's a situation like, what am I going to do to define if I'm going to be a victim of my circumstances, or if I'm going to figure out how to get out of these circumstances as quickly as possible? Because we're seeing people not being able to really figure it out. They don't really know what they're going to do in these times that we're living in. And, what my advice would be is simply to just say to yourself that I refuse to allow these circumstances to define me. I refuse to fall victim to what is going on out there in the world. Going within yourself and saying, I know that X, Y, Z is happening outside that door, but within my home, within my mind, within my family, within my circle, within everything, we're going to figure out a way to get out of this. And again, that goes hand in hand with self-determination. Am I going to be a failure just because everything around me is falling, because I'm witnessing things happening in real time that are unfavorable, that are hard, that are difficult? Am I going to fall victim to this, or am I going to figure out how to navigate around this and have a plan put in place for myself and my family? And like I said, going into the new year, that is my outlook, because I'm just going to be very honest and very transparent right now. I feel like in 2023, I left way too many things up to chance. And I refuse to do that moving forward. I will not leave things up to chance. Not even within what I believe. I will have a concrete plan for everything that it is that I want to do. And I'm not looking to leave anything up to chance. I will say, this is what I want, and I will begin working in that direction to get what it is that I need. I won't say, if this doesn't happen, then this isn't going to happen. No, I'm going to navigate around all the roadblocks, everything that seems like it's not going to work. I'm just going to breeze past it, and I'm going to come up with a plan B if necessary. I'm going to navigate around it, and I'm going to build off of whatever the situation may be. I'm going to find a way to make a way out of no way. And I think that's what we all must, the mindset that we all must get into, because we're seeing what's happening in our world. And if we are determined to not fail, we will not fail.
Yeah. And here's some self accountability right now, because, at the beginning of the show, in the intro, one of the things that Courtney mentioned is for us to speak about the drive of Urban Country Films, UC Films. Really and truly, when I look over the year, right, and I put the whole of 2023, what has UC Films done? We have done nothing but simply existed. We have done nothing but simply not gone underwater. Period, right? The effort to UC Films to grow has been absent in 2023, right? 2024 is a whole nother year. I'm sorry, the things that it was okay to take a year off. And honestly, I'm gonna say this, it was okay to take a year off. I needed that year to build ATL fleet because UC Films is expensive, right? UC Films is when UC Films reaches where I can look at it and say, yeah, we done got here. We'll probably be looking and say, oh, damn, CNN was here. We'll probably be looking and say, damn, Fox was here. CNBC was here. Right? So to answer that and to hold some self-accountability, UC Films didn't do nothing but simply just not gone on. But with that, and I hate that word, but let's strike that word. Forget you heard that. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud, right? I'm very proud that I hold a company that still is in existence that hasn't tried to grow for a year. And we're still in existence. We still have our accounts. Accounts are still active. We still have our clients. Clients are still active. But the growth, it's been stagnant, right? The dream has been pushed to the side for this year, for last year. The year is over though. And we've already started making moves. Shout out to RafaTV.tv. We've already started making moves towards making 2024 a complete different year, right? Because ATL Fleet now is at a place where it can balance, and I can turn that attention and put the attention where it needs to be on the real dream, right? But yeah, sometimes you gotta. I was speaking with my son the other night, and I had to remind him of this, and it fits right into what we're saying. So I'm gonna bring it. Sometimes you have to pull back in order to grab the momentum to go the distance you want to go for the next period, right? And sometimes it's very hard to do, right? Because if we look at our lives and look at, if any adult in the room would look at their life and look at their lives today and look at the levels of their lives, right? And look at where they are today. And at every single level, the last thing you want to do is go back to the previous level, right? That's the last thing we want to do mentally, right? But sometimes we need to pull back to get the momentum to go to the next place that we want to go. I mean, I think Courtney should be coming in soon. I don't want to go over, how they say, overwhelm your stay type of thing.
Overstay your welcome. Absolutely. And we did want to open up the floor a bit for some and like I said, and I knew I would do that, but I've been so involved in the conversation. When you just said it, I was like, oh yeah, it is about that time. So we do want to open up the floor for conversation because we've had a couple of people jump in and make some comments, and I love that. I love when the conversations at hand gets people to talking. When it's a sidetrack, I don't like it. But when people are talking about what you're speaking on, I definitely encourage that and welcome that. Koja Malik, it is so awesome to see you back in here. Koja Malik actually mentioned when you were talking about the economics of things, Andre, she mentioned that the interest rates are being at the levels of what it was during Reaganomics. And I absolutely, I concur. I think that as well. And as you said, Andre, as well, having ownership is really that's what you have to be proud of. Like you said, not a but an and.
Yeah.
That's what we really have at this point. So, you know, and that kind of checked me for a moment because, as you both know, you know, hubby and I, you know, we started into 2023 like, yeah, you know, we're about to do this, and at the end of 2023, we're just happy we have our we still have our LLC, and you know, we still have our business intact, and we didn't have to file bankruptcy, which was in some advisement by a couple of people. They were like, well, just file bankruptcy, and you know, then you can start kind of build from scratch again there. And but again, having ownership is still key, and so to still have that that mind frame at the end of such a tumultuous year, because as you said, Shelley, absolutely, this is and I don't think people really realize it, because a lot of people that are experiencing this being the worst economic time of their lives, they did not know what a real thriving middle class looked like. They didn't know what you know, they had not they don't have it to compare to. And what's the adage? You can't miss what you can't measure, that sort of thing. So they don't know what there's a reason why the 80s is the most researched time span in along in our history, because the 80s, it was like, you know, it was a real middle class. It was business that was encouraged to be done here in the United States. It wasn't so much exporting, importing emphasis, and unfortunately, we saw a decline in our family structures because of Reagan. But the families were there for them for it to decline, if that makes sense. You know, the family
Right.
structure just isn't as there for it to even make the decline. So again, you can't miss what you can't measure, and there was a vast difference there. So Devon has some questions. Yes, and he is in the Bronx, so he definitely said, you know, he will want to connect when we wrap here and have y'all exchange information. Coach Malik said, if you're treading water, you're winning. That's absolutely true.
All
And
right.
so Devon asked, is there anything big planned? You mentioned Too Raw for TV. He wants to get some more information about what's big in store for UC Films in the future.
UC Films are we're going after our niche market this year. But what I didn't follow up on is when I said it was okay to take the year off. You know, what was going on in my brain really is, I mean, you know what we do, Courtney. A lot of people don't know what we do, and the world is now starting to catch up with the whole blockchain, um, the fact that the economy is completely changing. The whole system that we're used to is completely changing, and the blockstream streaming, what we do is something that is a whole nother, a whole nother category from everything that everyone is doing right now with streaming, right? So we're going after our niche market this year. We're going heavy after the people that are getting the what do they call the rules, where they don't want to let the people speak or say what they want to say. They gotta some people can't talk about this and you can't
Oh,
talk
the
about that.
censorship?
The censorship. We're going after our niche market.
One's being banned from other platforms.
Yeah, the people, the people that have the things that we need to hear, but the masses, I mean, not the masses, but the controllers of these platforms will not allow them to say, right? So we're going after these people heavy. We're gonna let them know what they can do to combat that. We're gonna show them. We're gonna give it to them, and that's our big plan for the year, to go after our niche market. Let our niche market know that they're here, because now a year later, it's more understandable. It's an easier thing to explain, right? Because now people know what you're talking about when you say blockchain, right? People know what the reference of cryptocurrency. So yeah, go after that niche. That's our big thing this year. Yeah, that's a great
Coach
goal.
Malik shares that niche markets are a thing. My goal is niche markets also, and Coach Malik is out of Florida. Definitely that may be a connection for you as well. With
Shout out
you
Florida.
all being former Floridians, I'm so glad. Anyone that's moving from Florida, I wish you know what. We got to talk. We got to continue to build. Of course, as we will. But when we talk about self determination and what this does apply to the concept or what I'm terming the theme of 2024 being is the year of open doors. Okay. And so 2024 open doors. And with self-determination, we have got to get out of Florida. I tell people that all the time. And I'm saying that with no jest, with full-hearted just understanding that there are, and I'm sure you both can speak to this, just not just only to the economic portion or the economic conversation of getting out of Florida, but also to the and the consciousness level of why Florida can be so stifling. Um, and I guess it was just something I didn't recognize, of course, growing up, because again, you can't miss what you can't measure. But once I lived other places, it's amazing that you have any type of consciousness there. But there are niche markets specifically for people looking to get some real estate, looking to get some homes and some properties. So that is definitely, I think, worth having that discussion with why they're central. The center are the southern central states like the Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, even Mississippi. These are niche places right now when it comes to property with real estate. Whereas Florida has, there are a lot of people that are, believe it or not, they are not dumping and leaving, and the real estate's not going down, it's going up. Because remember, quintessentially, Florida was a big state where people went to what they went to retire and die. So for those people that have that type of interest built up and portfolio, it's business as usual. So I don't think people kind of understand that when they're talking about, we have to get a home and that sort of thing. Florida's not the place you go to do it because the people that have already built up that portfolio, it's business as usual. They're doing that. So economically, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And then, like I said, spiritually and consciously, it's very, very divisive, unfortunately. Um, oh,
I'm Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go
You
ahead.
can, yeah, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna agree with you. I'm just gonna add that I'll be back in Florida. I just I just got to get my portfolio there, right? So I can get to Florida because I can't live without the water and the sunshine. Like I'm a fire sign and I need that water to balance me out. I haven't found that balance since I've been in here. I'm not messing with these lakes. The last lake they told me about is a bunch of people buried underneath there, a bunch of our ancestors, and I'm all good with these lakes. I'm just so good.
You can't get the fish you want out those lakes.
And plus, I'm not eating no fish up out of them lakes. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. So, I just got to build a portfolio back up, right? We got to get urban country film. Is there any shows, right? Is that you want to ask a question? Because I see a question popped up on the screen. So,
Yep, that's what that says. Are there any shows under UC Films we should be on the lookout for? Any media
so
projects, I guess,
to
particularly?
answer that question, right now it's more about media projects and not shows, because that's what we want to do. We want to put more focus on the content creators who have things to say, right? And let them shine, let them do their own thing. The one that I do well, there's two right now, Herbal Essence. Herbal Essence, we want you to look out for Herbal Essence but she's not been going live lately at all. But she's a herbal doctor, Tamika, right? She's a herbal spiritual healer and herbal is doctor the right word? I don't want to call it the wrong word, right?
Yes, you could just say herbalist.
She's an herbalist, right? Cures everything from cancer to her son had sickle cell, right? And she's, I mean, everything in between she can cure. And that's herbalessence.com. We build, host, and maintain that site. The reason why we originally built her site, we did that back in the middle of COVID, is because she was curing COVID. And the FDA stepped in and told her she had to shut down her site. So we had to put her on a site where she was off the grid, right? To where the only people that she would could see her stuff, right? Since those regulations have all calmed down, now everybody can find it. Matter of fact, we had a meeting about that today, where her website is now wide open to where Google searches and everybody, but that's herbalessence.com. The next one is tourofatv.tv, right? tourofatv.tv. He just launched his site within the last couple of months. Palmetto Star, he's a content creator, which is constantly censored, right? So he's now has a place to where once he uploads something and puts something, there's no one can take it down, right? There's no one can stop him from sending the messages that he wants to send. So those are people we're going after. We're going after the ones that they don't want you to talk. They don't want you to talk. They don't want you to bring the truth to us. And I'm here as a student. I want to hear the truth, right? I'm here as a defender of free speech, right? I want people to be able to speak, regardless of how much I don't like what they have to say. I want to defend people's right to be able to speak, because I don't want anybody to ever tell me what I can and cannot say. Right. So I'm going to defend everybody else's right. Absolutely. But yeah, man, that's what it's in store for this year.
Now, I did want to just go ahead, and because we are closing in on our last 10 minutes or so of the broadcast, and again, want to make sure I just went back and just made sure I was not missing any comments or any questions. Koja Malik does share that she is in Florida. She's in it says Hinder County, Florida. I'm going to just go ahead and post that. And she is about to purchase an orange grove and a few acres of an orange grove. And she says she got year-round sunshine for growing, and those rednecks gonna get to know her. She is a force. So I definitely want you all to connect. Koja Malik she is a absolutely just a dynamic speaker, researcher. She is on it, and she also says she is harvesting her shampoo ginger to plant for the season right now. She is a grower. She's very much a green thumb, a green hand, and she's a nurturer. Her background is in healing, and so healing and care, and so and that is professionally as well as personally. So I definitely think that is a connection worth making.
Shout outs to her because
she is.
Shout outs to her,
I will
Courtney.
connect you all offline.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. They're just saying shout outs to her because, right, you and I both know the South Florida where we come from. We used to have oranges, right? We used to have oranges in our backyards, right? Our neighbors would have an orange tree. You would have an orange, a lemon,
backyard and front yard.
Exactly, right. They used to grow like wild seeds, right? Like
backyard and front yard.
After a while, they came in and they said, no, those things are canker. They, you can't have these things anymore.
They regulated it. Yeah, they regulated the tree.
Right, but in Central Florida, where all the rednecks are, is where all the farms are who supply the rest of the world. So it's ridiculous to me. It's just like, you had to take it away from us black folk down south, right? It was too many of us down south, too many Jamaicans and Haitians and Cubans down south to let us have art. But in North Florida, in Central Florida, where all the rednecks are, there was no canker, huh? Get out of here, man. I'm sorry.
No, I love that. And you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. So I was in Miami for about a decade. And when I first got there, like the mangoes, of course, backyard, front yard, what have you. And by the time I left, only a few houses, they like all over the Grove, you could find them. But I mean, they were not at houses anymore. Like they were just places throughout the Grove where you could find and go get them. And, so much kind of worked in a little deal with people say, hey, if you pick from I had this one guy, he used to pick from my tree. I had two mango trees in the back and one in the front. And yeah, but you would have to work out. You could work out. It was a great barter, because I say you could pick the mangoes, but my son likes mangoes. So at the time my son was little, he wasn't climbing those trees. So, it would always be he would take a bushel for him, but he would leave a nice box on the front porch for my son. So and this is what we do as a people, and we have had this conversation many times. This is why, we have to understand that currency is anything we make it. Currency does not have to be, green money. Currency is anything we make it. And that does go right hand in hand when we say this is uh, again a self-motivated type of culture and living, that we are establishing our own boundaries, our own rights, our own holidays, our own value system, right? And having these conversations, believe it or not, these are a part of that, building that mindset, because as you said in the beginning, Andre, mentally, whatever you're doing, that's the life you're creating.
Regardless.
That's the life you're creating. So we can't we have to be about what we say we're about. And again, I love, Shelly, how you introduced, your husband and your leader there by saying, I'm proud of the way you started off this year with self-determination, because you made the decision, that, hey, you're not going to work for someone else. You're going to create, and you're going to create something of value. And instead of being a constant consumer, are helping to build somebody else's dreams, you're going to build up a legacy, and you're going to build this up for our family and for, for our culture and our community. And I love that. And I think that this is something that we all need to, really sit down and think on as as this new year approaches, as this week carries on, and this year approaches. Because I, like you, I made the decision 6 years ago. I was done paying rent. 6 years ago, before COVID ever hit, I said, God knows my heart, because He knew I was done. I was done with that. And so thankfully, he when COVID did hit, I was working for a property development company at the time, and things progressed because they shut down the working during that time, but the the monies had already been allotted for these projects. And so it really cleared the way for another 2 years that I was going to be able to be rent free. And so now, coming up on 2024, I would now be entering my 7th year. And I tell you, I ain't trying to stop. I ain't trying to stop. It's very funny and odd to me that we as a people don't appreciate or realize that if 70% of us hold up the rental industry, what does that mean when 70% of us decide we're not going to pay it anymore? Well, that's not going to be our reality. And what does that mean also when you are no longer having to go to work to substantiate paying rent? Okay. You'd be surprised on what you can develop when your mind has the capacity to do so, when you're not just thinking in a 9 to 5 mindset, when you're not just thinking of, okay, well, I have to go here because I have to get these dollars to pay this rent or pay these small bills. Don't think bills, think billions. I got that little note from was it think poor, think rich, live poor, something like that. It it was a nice little podcast I was following for a minute, you know. But yeah, you have to. So this means you're not going to be driving the newest expensive cars. You're not going to be going out to eat every night. Think rich, live poor, live poor. And that's the true meaning of wealth. But again, I want to, give shout outs to everyone that tuned in today. We reached double digits during this conversation, which is awesome. And we are, like I said, we are not slowing down. We're having the a great storyteller and a great tie-in and a Chicago native coming in tomorrow, Mr. Salim Cox. But again, I am about to drop down to the backstage and I'm going to leave the floor open for you all to just finish out your conversation and close it out any way that you see fit. I'm going to add your media, what I know anyway, to the banner so people know how to reach out to you. They can get in touch with you via email. And if there's any other information you would like to share with the group, with the chat, now is the time. But thank you both again for blessing us this power hour with this inspirational and motivational conversation and being a part of this Kwanzaa conversation series. And as you know, how I am, like I'm going to talk it up always, bigger and better even for next year. We'll make a Kwanzaa conversation conference. You know how I am.
For real, for real, for real. One thing I did want to say that I didn't get a chance to is that I am proud of all the things that I've accomplished, right? But I will say, I will say that when you have a real partner, it makes it like really like, I don't want to use the word possible because I don't want to make people feel like it's impossible without a partner, right? I strongly want to use a comparable word, right? Because when you have a partner going at your dreams with you and believing in you more than anything else, it lights up a fire underneath you to where it's just like, this expectation has been put on me type of thing, Mm-hmm. So that's really what I wanted to finish off with.
I just want to say thank you for being here, everybody who tuned in. Again, everything kind of came around full circle because when Courtney invited us, I didn't even think about the fact until I started talking. Wait a minute, this is my theme for 2024. The universe always plays games with me, y'all. I don't even have enough time to explain. And I want to send a shout out to Kojo. I don't want to say it wrong. Kojo Malik. I think that's what Courtney said. Thank you so much for being here and sharing everything with us that you're doing. I think that's great. And I wish you much, much, much success on that. Again, having these conversations is what we need to continue to do as a community. Self-determination is so important and how we are going to define ourselves in the future. I always reference this because it's a staggering projection that has actually been put out there for our community. And it says by 2053, there will be no wealth in the Black community. And what I just like to say to that is who gets to decide? Does the projections get to decide or do we get to decide what our future looks like? And I just want to close off with that.
Yeah, you decide. You see, they're looking for people to do their bidding for them.
Right.
We're not it. And we'll continue to do the things that we'll do, and each one teach one. And, we keep on seeing people like Kojo Malik, keep on seeing examples like that. And, we can't go wrong. Y'all can hit me up at ATL Fleet, Andre at ATLFleet.com. That's Andre at ATLFleet.com. Courtney, thank you for having us.
You guys can go ahead. I'm gonna get back on my social media. I'm on Facebook at Shelly Fain. I talk a lot of trash on there, so come over and follow me. I have good conversations. We can chat it up, and also TikTok Shelly Fain. So hit me up, and then let's keep the conversations going.
All right, guys. Thank you. I think we just leave, right?